Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji's Mata, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me okay, and can you see the chapter 3?
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, yes and yes.
Okay. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmaditam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namadishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhupe Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bhakti Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So today we are discussing the third chapter. Second chapter we discuss various aspects of sadhana bhakti, the qualification for sadhana bhakti, uh, what is the definition of sadhana bhakti, what is the goal of sadhana bhakti, how sadhana bhakti takes to bhava bhakti and prema bhakti. Yeah, because it became so they put it for wash. Um, different aspects of sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, how it connects to bhava bhakti by doing sadhana bhakti with attention. So few aspects we discuss in chapter 2. Chapter 3, eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. Very nice. Okay. What is needed qualification to take up devotional service? On account of his association with Mahatmas or great souls, 100% engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, one may attain a little bit of attraction for Sri Krishna. Such a person, if he has unflinching attraction for Krishna, becomes an eligible candidate for discharging devotional service. So the eligibility is when one has attraction for Sri Krishna. An attraction for Sri Krishna is aroused by association with Mahatmas or great souls, those who are engaged in devotional service. In the picture, you see there is an example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi. And Varanasi was filled with impersonalists and Mayavadis. There were only two devotees in Varanasi. One was Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar Acharya. These were the only two um, devotees. And Mahaprabhu, when he was going to Vrindavan, on the way, Mahaprabhu stopped in Varanasi. And these devotees were very much distressed because everybody in Varanasi was impersonalist. And in fact, when Mahaprabhu was in Varanasi, one Brahmana used to come to associate with Lord Chaitanya. So the Brahmana, so these three devotees, Chandrasekhar Acharya, this Brahmana, and Tapan Mishra, they informed Lord Chaitanya that they are very much distressed because everybody in Varanasi was criticizing Lord Chaitanya. They would call him bhavuka, emotional, sentimental, and they would think he is also initiated from Shankaracharya Sampradaya, from Bharati Sampradaya. But then he avoids us, and on the other hand, he has his own people, and he is sentimental, and he goes on the street, he chants Hare Krishna, and he doesn't study the Vedanta. Um, so so they would consider him as like a deviant from our sampradaya. So hearing this, the devotees of the Lord, three devotees of the Lord, their hearts would be pained. So seeing the distress of Lord Chaitanya, they made a request to Lord Chaitanya to please deliver the people of Varanasi also. So Lord Chaitanya, he smiled. And Lord Chaitanya then later on went to Vrindavan. But when Lord Chaitanya came from Vrindavan, he again took a stop in Varanasi. That time, this third Brahmana, he invited all these impersonalist Mayavadi sannyasis to his home for prasad. And he invited Lord Chaitanya also. And because it was a desire of the devotees, Lord Chaitanya went there. And naturally, there is a temple in that Brahmana's home, and before we enter the temple there is a foot wash area. As you see, it is little bit below the ground. People come and wash their feet and then go to the temple. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, and Mahaprabhu sat there, and after sitting there, Mahaprabhu started emanating his Brahman effulgence. And actually these Mayavadis, they meditate on the Brahman, and they want to become one with Brahman. But when they saw this effulgence coming from the face of the Lord, they were they were very much attracted to the Lord. So the leader of all the sannyasis was Prakashananda Saraswati. So he came and he gave his hand to Lord Chaitanya, as you see, and he asked Lord Chaitanya, "You are such a great sannyasi," because their heart was transformed by seeing the Brahman effulgence, which is their object of affection, coming from the transcendental body of the Lord. So they said, "You seem to be such an erudite and such a great sannyasi. Why are you sitting in this contaminated place?" So they picked up Lord Chaitanya, they took him to the temple hall, they made him sit, and all these thousands of sannyasis, they are circled around Lord Chaitanya. And they said, "You are from our sampradaya, you're from Bharati sampradaya, but you avoid us. You basically, you never associate with us, and you don't study the Vedanta, you don't discuss the philosophy. Sannyasi means come together and discuss Vedas and Vedanta sutras and impersonalism, but you do none of those things. It's a duty of a sannyasi."
Picking up. I have everything water running just a little bit, and I told everyone to, so then don't shut it off.
And, uh, um, so then, um, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "When I met my Guru Maharaj, I was a great scholar." Mahaprabhu didn't say that, but actually Mahaprabhu was a great scholar. But Mahaprabhu said, "When my Guru Maharaj saw me, my Guru Maharaj told me that you are a fool. Um, um, you don't worry about Vedanta. You just chant Hare Krishna, and by that you will attain perfection." And when I started chanting Hare Krishna, then something happened to me. Um, my tears were constantly flowing from my eyes. Um, I was becoming very unstable. Um, so many like hairs are standing on end, and um, my mind was reeling. I don't know what was happening. And I went to my Guru Maharaj and I asked my Guru Maharaj, "Guru Maharaj, what kind of mantra have you given me? What is happening to me?" So Guru Maharaj had a big smile on his face, and Guru Maharaj told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, um, "You have attained the perfection." So all these devotees, because they are hearing directly the glories of the holy name from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and about the perfection from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were deeply moved. And they said, "But why don't you study the Vedanta?" Then they started discussing about Vedanta. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after discussing among themselves, they asked Lord Chaitanya, "What do you think?" So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the actual meaning of Vedanta, which none of them knew. They knew a very impersonalist philosophy. Mahaprabhu gave the explanation of Vedanta based on how Lord is a person, how we are his servants, how devotion to him is the goal. and how through devotional service we can attain our perfection. In a very pure teachings Mahaprabhu gave, and they all were like deeply moved again, and they were convinced within their heart that this is what Vedanta means. And Mahaprabhu asked them, "What do you think?" And these sannyasis said, actually, since the time we have accepted the philosophy of Shankaracharya, we were never convinced. But because we were part of his sampradaya, we all were trying, being sincere and trying to attain perfection um, in our and be loyal to our sampradaya. But after hearing from you, somehow whatever you spoke makes perfect sense. And by the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the humility of Lord Chaitanya, they were very moved. And then Mahaprabhu explained how the goal is the name, and the name is the means, um, and the goal is love. Um, and then they all had a kirtan together, and in this way, the whole Varanasi was delivered. So it says that on account of his association with Mahatmas, who are 100% engaged in devotional service, one may attain a little bit of attraction for Sri Krishna. Because these great personalities, like our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, because they have attraction for Krishna, they can share that attraction with all of us, and we also become attracted to Krishna, and that becomes our qualification to that's what makes us eligible to discharge devotional service. This is Lord Kapila. One with firm faith in processes such as hearing about me can obtain the perfection of bhakti, though he or she may not be very detached from the world, nor very attached to me. So that shows that the qualification for bhakti is not detachment. We may be like super attached to this material world and have many desires. That does not disqualify us for devotional service. We may not have any attachment for Krishna. That also does not disqualify us for devotional service. But rather, when we hear about the Lord, especially in association of Mahants, the great personalities, when we hear, that will give us our qualification. When devotees ask Prabhupada, what is our qualification? Prabhupada says, you have no qualification. I have made your qualification. Prabhupada, through his association, made the qualification for devotees and gave them attraction to Krishna. And because they were so attracted, because they were so attracted, they would jump and dance and chant, and they were so enlivened. And Prabhupada would pray for them, and Krishna's mercy would flow, and they developed so much faith. Um, so attraction is a qualification, and that comes through association. To start practicing bhakti, Rupa Goswami says we don't need detachment, we don't need attachment to Krishna also. We can still start if there is a little bit of attraction that come from devotee association. Then Rupa Goswami describes there are three kinds of devotees. Again, as he described, he summarized very quickly in this chapter also. Uttamadhikari are topmost, pure devotees of the Lord. We have Srila Prabhupada here, very expert in scriptural study. Prabhupada would quote anywhere, anything from so many different references. Expert in presenting Krishna consciousness in decisive way. Prabhupada could easily convince. When Prabhupada would speak, he would speak so sharp to the point, in such a conclusive way that everybody will be convinced. It is also said how much realized we are in the philosophy can be seen by how easily we can explain them in a very simple words. Even the most complex thing we can explain in a very simple way. Perfectly understands goal of life to attain loving devotional service to Krishna. Had strictly followed sadhana bhakti under guidance of spiritual master. Uttamadhikari is one who followed his guru, attained perfection by doing that, and now has become guru in himself. So his spiritual master fully trained to preach. Never deviates from principles of higher authority. Whatever scripture says, never goes anything against scriptures. That's Uttamadhikari. He attains firm faith by understanding scriptures with all reasons and arguments. Um, um, and then Uttamadhikari had read all the scriptures, and he understands all the reasons and arguments. And through reading scriptures and conviction and life experience and devotional practice, he has attained firm faith. So, Uttamadhikari, basically pure devotee, knows Shastra, can present Shastra, have followed one's own Guru Maharaj, is a spiritual master. Um, yeah. Then there is Madhyamadikari and Kanishtadikari. Madhyamadikari has firm faith, but not very expert in arguing. We discussed this in NOI, so we'll keep moving. Kanishtadikari has weak faith, um, and weak understanding of scriptures and can easily be swayed by superior arguments. I mean, somebody may say, and he may be like, yeah, I don't know how to answer. And his faith may be shaken up. Like I was sharing this one example. We offer food to Krishna. Somebody may come and say, um, have you ever seen one single grain um, eaten by Krishna? Then how do you know Krishna eats? It's all sentiments. So a Kanishta Adhikari will start thinking, yeah, I have not seen eating. Does he really eat? But a Madhyam Adhikari may think, but Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tumhyame Bhakta Prayachati. Anybody offers me a leaf, fruit, flower, I accept it. In Brahma Samhita and Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I accept, I accept. Uh, so this Kanishtadikari, scientific research may say something, and they may be deviated. Uh, uh, so yeah, their faith is very weak. They're very pliable. So best is that Kanishtadikari don't share with others, and they invest on their sadhana, and they by their own experiences they grow their faith, and then they can share. So that's three. Then four kinds of neophyte devotees, or Kanishtadikari. Krishna says this four kind of people come to me. Um, Arto Arthati Jigyasu Jnani. Um, one who is desiring wealth, one who is distressed, one who is inquisitive, and one who is wise. These four kind of people go to Krishna. They are all considered as Kanishtadikaris. Um, um, why they are considered Kanishtadikari? Because Madhyamadikari has firm faith in Krishna. But these people don't even know Krishna. Some is approaching God for wealth. So naturally, some is distressed. That's why they are going. So they are going for personal reasons, not for the sake of pleasing the Lord or rendering service to the Lord. But they are going like, okay, I need this, and can you help in that way? Um, um, some are inquisitive. Inquisitive means like, what about this? And tell me something about the purpose of life, the value of life, how to practice that. So they're eager. Um, but Madhyamadikari and Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadikari and Uttamadikari, they are firmly fixed in the path of devotional service. But the sages were asking, what is the path of devotional service? What is the ultimate goal? How to attain that? So that shows that they also did not have that complete understanding of Krishna, um, or they were not steeped into practicing that. That's why Rupa Goswami calls all of them as beginners. Uh, um, and then wise are searching for knowledge, like four Kumaras. They were Brahman realized, but they don't know that the God has a form and that is a source of Brahman. So when they don't know that, then how can they have firm faith in the Lord? Uh, so one can approach because one is searching for knowledge, one can approach because one is inquisitive about life, one can approach out of distress, one can approach out of wealth. All these people can approach Krishna, but because they are approaching Krishna not to serve him or not to please him, not out of pure devotion, but they are approaching for other purposes. That's why they are called beginners. But naturally, we may all go to Krishna for various reasons. Either we are inquisitive or we are wise. But as we start practicing devotional service, then maybe now we don't go to Krishna for these things. Now we go to Krishna um, for bhakti and uh, um, to serve him in some way. Like Gajendra, Dhruva, sages Naimesharanya, four Kumaras, they are like pure devotees of the Lord now. But because initially they approached for ulterior purpose, that time they were beginners. Dhruva Maharaj, after 6 months, um, he became a pure devotee. Okay, so and this is increased level of piety, Rupa Goswami says. So Krishna also says, among these four kind of people who approach me, those who are jnanis are the best. Those who are searching for knowledge. And why jnanis are the best? Because they are not approaching me for any material desire. Um, uh, that's why they are the best. But if you see, especially first two, they're approaching the Lord out of material desire. Krishna is very pleased actually when we approach him without any material desire, but with the intention to serve him. He is very pleased. And that's why the wise are the most dear to Krishna. Krishna says, uh, Krishna says there, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnana Vamam Prapadyate. The Jnani among many is the best. Why? Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. Because he approaches me and he accepts me as the source of everything. They're already liberated souls, it is said, these wise or who are in knowledge. Um, and they have no material desire, but they're approaching God for a pure purpose, but they don't know who God is. Um, and that's why they cannot be called as intermediate, because intermediate is like firm faith in God, but the wise don't even know who God is. That's why they are still called as beginners. But naturally, um, we may all approach Lord for various purposes, uh, but someone may take many, many lifetimes to go from beginning to middle, intermediate to advanced, and somebody may go within a month from beginner to advanced. Like Dhruv Maharaj went from beginner to um, um, Uttama platform within 6 months, and he saw the Lord also, and that is based on one's past, because one begins from where one left off. And Prabhupada Maharaj says from past life, Dhruv Maharaj was very advanced devotee himself. But then this was a trigger point. But still he is considered beginner because he's approaching the Lord for wealth and he doesn't know. What do people do? They worship Vishnu. Where is Vishnu? He is found in the forest. So Guru comes Narad Muni and says, this is how you worship Vishnu. So naturally beginning stage. But then because his past was so good, very quickly he developed attraction for the Lord and attained Uttamadhikari. Uh, Such beginners can be elevated to second class or first class platform if they associate with pure devotees. They all associated with pure devotees. Um, um, Gajendra actually was devotee in the past life only. And whatever mantra he used to worship the Lord earlier, he chanted the same mantra. Uh, but he was very he was very happy with his like elephant family and playing, sporting, uh, not concerned about the Lord. But the distress forced him. Everybody left him, and in such pain, he was forced to approach the Lord and gave him pure devotion instantaneously. For him, beginning, he approached out of distress. But because he's so pure, his beginning stage to pure devotional stage is like a moment. Dhruv Maharaj takes 6 months and Gajendra attained in a moment that um, but the idea is, Rupa Goswami says, anybody who approaches the Lord, if not to serve him, then they are in the beginning stage. Um, then qualification for pure devotional service. So there is a nice picture here. Seems like a horror picture. Um, so qualification for devotional service is no qualification required. You may just associate with Mahatmas and you may develop taste for Krishna consciousness. Bhagavatam also says that there is a verse in first canto, second chapter. Shushusho Shraddhadhanasya Vasudeve Katharuchi Share Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Titha Nishevana. It says Shushusho means very eagerly. Shraddhadhanasya, if eagerness, uh, with faith, um, Mahat Sevaya Vipra, if one serves the devotees, Mahat Seva, Sevaya, those who are advanced, if one serves them uh, with heart, with eagerness. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Uh, the attraction for Vasudev Katha will increase by service to devotees, by association with devotees. Bhagavatam says we will develop taste in the holy name and taste in uh, uh, hearing about the Lord. Uh, so that becomes anybody can be qualified by association of devotees and little attraction for Krishna to practice devotional service. But then, who is qualified to practice pure devotional service? Pure devotional service is very hard. We saw in the first chapter how rare is pure devotional service. So to begin devotional service, only qualification is attraction. If you're attracted to Krishna, even little bit attraction, a little bit faith, and you can begin. But to practice pure devotional service, one must become renounced, free from all desires except to please Krishna. But pure devotional service, one can begin pure devotional service when one's only desire is to please Krishna. There is no gross desire, there is no subtle desire. Um, Intermediate stage is when the desires are there, but we are not approaching Krishna out of those desires. Advanced stage is when desires themselves are not there. And beginner stage is when we are approaching the Lord for those desires. Okay, I'm approaching because I'm distressed, I am in need of something. And second level is I have attachment, but I'm condemning myself for those attachments. Why do I have them? How do and then we never approach Krishna to fulfill those desires. Rather, we cry in front of Krishna, or we feel bad about ourselves, or we lament little bit. Not too much lamentation is not good. And then we feel like ashamed of our okay, we are not there. Um, we have so many unwanted desires within our heart, and sometimes we are driven by those desires. Um, and we are in a very pitiable situation, um, controlled by our own mind and senses and false ego and desires and attachments. But we don't ask Krishna those things. Um, um, but when we have none of those, and when our heart is flowing out of devotion, out of love, and it's pure, and that's the only place where the mind goes, where the intelligence goes, where the focus is, where the love is flowing, where affection is flowing. The heart is brimming with that, and only that permeates our consciousness. Krishna, that is Uttamadhikari. Um, so that is the requirement for pure devotional service, that no other desire except to please Krishna. If we want anything other than Krishna and his service, Krishna will easily give us, but he won't give himself. Um, uh, Actually, if we ask Krishna something, Krishna will give. But if we have a desire and we don't ask, Krishna will still give those things. Because Srila Prabhupada, one place Srila Prabhupada mentions, just like if you go, just like anybody, when he goes close to the flower, he can smell the flower. The flower doesn't need to kind of touch us also, but we can just, if we are close by, we can sense it, we can smell the flower. Likewise, the Lord is very, very close, and the Lord knows us everything. So Lord can easily sense what is our inner desire, and Lord may fulfill those desires also, and keep fulfilling our desires also if we have them. Like in the root core of our heart, we have some desires. Krishna will um, uh, uh, Hare Krishna. Uh, so when we see that there is that desire lingering within our heart, attachment, um, then without even asking, Krishna may fulfill those desires. So that's okay. Yeah. So even if you don't ask Krishna, um, it is said, we were discussing just today only, that the name of the Lord is compared to Chintamani. Chintamani means the name can fulfill all our desires. Um, we don't have to ask, but because we are dealing with Chintamani, the desires lingers, um, and um, we are not hankering for Krishna, or we are hankering for other things outside of Krishna. That becomes a, a block for us to render pure devotional service. Krishna will give those things, but they are going to simply give us more anxiety and distress on. And there are two kinds of main unwanted desires. One is bhakti and one is mukti. Bhakti means some kind of uh, a personal selfish pleasure, can be of any kind. um, Sense gratification, um, can be through the senses, can be through the mind, can be through false ego, some attachments. That is bhakti. And mukti is somebody who wants uh, impersonal liberation. This is actually one of my uh, we'll come back to this picture actually. One of my favorite thing, because I'm a suffering soul with the same disease. So mukti, something first we discuss about mukti and then we go to bhakti. So mukti is, there are various kinds of mukti. One mukti is freedom from suffering. Um, I want to go back to Godhead because um, there is so much pain here. I want to go back because I cannot tolerate this last stage of cancer in my body. I want to go back. There's so much pain, like suffering. People are giving me trouble. I don't want to stay here. I want to go back to Godhead because everything is just suffering. Um, Relationship broke. I don't want to stay. I want to go back to Godhead because it's everything is temporary. Everything is suffering. So there, the reason for going back to Godhead is not I want to go back to Godhead because I want to serve Krishna. The reason to go back to Godhead is still selfish. That I am not happy here. I'll be happy there. That's why I want to go there because I will be happy there. Baba, are you going to Krishna because you want to make Krishna happy or you want to make yourself happy? No, I am the center. We are in the center. So this is also mukti. This is like either Brahman realization or we escape this material world. We cannot go back to Krishna unless Krishna is in the center of our lives. Krishna doesn't want somebody who, like, it's like Srila Prabhupada says, we should not allow anyone and everyone to come and stay in the temple unless they are willing to come for Mangal Arati. Um, they are very sincere in devotional service. They should not come and take disadvantage of the temple. Oh, there is a nice room, I can stay here. It's warm, there is free food. I can do whatever I like. I can stay here. So there is like they're taking advantage of the temple. So Prabhupada says, don't allow them. Likewise, Krishna doesn't want anybody to come and take advantage of Vrindavan. Hey, Krishna doesn't want somebody to come for themselves. Like, somebody come here, we want them to come to the temple if they want to progress in their spiritual life, not otherwise. Um, yeah. Likewise, Krishna also doesn't want people to take disadvantage of him and his dham. If you want to escape something, no, no, no. Only if you want to serve Krishna, then we go back to Krishna. Then becoming one with the God. Again, we are in the center. So some people want mukti. They want to go and go to spiritual world. They don't want to become one with God, but they want to go back to Godhead because they are suffering. And they realize this place is a place of suffering. So let me go back. No, it's my nature to be happy. I'll be very happy there. But Krishna is still not. Pleasure of Krishna is still not in the center. Then that is undesirable. Um, there's also undesirable that I'll become one with God. This like Mayavad actually. Um, Prabhupada said last layer of Maya. Why? Because Prabhupada says we want to become um, leaders and then we want to become managers and then we want to become CEOs, and then we want to become the president of America or whichever country you want. And then the last layer of Maya is we want to become God only. We don't want any higher thing. We want the highest thing. We want to become God. So Prabhupada said last layer of Maya. Then another form of mukti is freedom from material desires and reactions. Um, like Ajamil was when he met Vishnu Dutas. Now, he was very attached to a prostitute, very deeply attached. Again and again, he is begetting child in her womb. 11th child or something was he named him Narayan, and then he was very much attached to Narayan, very much attached to the prostitute and that child, and so he was very deeply attached, many desires, and to fulfill those desires, he was doing some sinful acts also. And then, um, um, but Ajamila, he met Vishnu Dutas in his vision, and they were protecting him, and they were freeing him from Yamdutas. And Najamila was very much attracted to Vishnu Dutas, their charm, their devotion, their purity, um, their Shastric understanding. So when they read Yamdutas off, Ajamila became so attached to those four devotees, Vishnu Dutas, that on that attachment, he could give up his attachment to prostitute and um, uh, his son or his family or his activities. He became completely free from the desires and the reaction also. But he did not go back to Godhead. But he was freed from अनर्थ निवृत्ति हो गया उनका moment, even in a moment हो गया उनका अनर्थ निवृत्ति, because the association was super powerful of Vishnu Dutas. So that we want that. But Ajamil didn't become a pure devotee yet. But he was very grateful. He understood the glories of the holy name. He was lamenting over his past, what he has done. He left home and he wanted to just do that and become pure and attain those. And then he chanted for 12 years the name of Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. And then he attained perfection. Then the same Vishnu thus came, took Ajamil back to Godhead. So that is desirable. And want to serve the Lord independent of externals. Krishna is in the center, going back to Godhead to serve Krishna. We are willing to extend ourselves because we go back to Godhead when we love Krishna, when we want to serve Krishna, and there is nothing else. And just in separation from Krishna, and it's purely Krishna conscious out of loving service. Just like how a mother renders loving service, she's so attached to the child. She renders so she extends herself so much out of love, and does everything for the child. Sometimes sleepless nights also, um, and her satisfaction is a smile of the child. Very rare actually. I mean, it's common for mothers and children, especially in the beginning, say when the child is born. So like that's very close, but that deepest form of love for Krishna. Then when Krishna is in the center, um, then one can go back. So last two are desirable, first two are not desirable. Like uh, um, one kind of mukti is just attaining Brahman realization. Um, 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 anyways, uh, so this is something on mukti. Liberation from bodily concept does substantially depends one's realization that goal of life is to please Krishna and not bodily urges. When we are actually liberated, as like in the case of Ajamil, the reason why material desires freedom is desirable because when there is no material desire remaining na, and no attraction remaining to this world, like Sukadev Goswami has no attraction to Krishna. Sorry, he has no attraction for the material world. We saw when the ladies were bathing and he was not attracted to them. um, Nothing else was attracting. His father was calling out of fatherly affection. He was not attracted to that also. He was not wearing any clothes, no bodily conception. He was a liberated soul. but then he still was missing Krishna in his life. But when he heard Bhagavatam, glories of Krishna, he was super attracted to Krishna. Then he heard the entire Bhagavatam, again went back and heard from father. Not because Vasudeva's father, just because he was attracted. So liberation from bodily conception does substantially deepens one realization that goal of life is to please Krishna and not bodily urges. But when we are not free from material desires, no, then we are comfortable here. And then we desire those temporary um, 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 attachments. We desire them. We find comfort in them. And then Krishna is also there, and we are comfortable here also. But when nothing remains, no other desire remains. That is like very, very conducive. That's why that kind of liberation from material desire is desirable. Uh, Ultimate, yeah. So what is um, uh, yeah, okay. Renunciation, liberation, and devotional service. In fact, Rupa Goswami makes it very clear that devotees should be free from desires for bhukti and mukti, um, um, or becoming one with God. He compares them to two witches who haunts like a ghost. This is like, I love this example because I am a living example of this, and that's why I love this example. Um, if you have seen horror movies, then um, sometime in horror movie the ghost or the witch may haunt a person, and that person loses control on themselves, and that person does what the ghost want them to do. The person cannot get the ghost out of them by themselves, but some exorcionist has to come and remove the ghost from their life because they are haunted. Likewise, Rupa Goswami compares the desire for bhukti and mukti. Let's leave mukti because um, not many people here, I hope, want to become one with God. But then this bhakti is very deep. The desire for material enjoyment, the attachments, that is very, very deep. And it haunts like a ghost means we constantly have it in the back of the mind. Instead of having Krishna in the back of the mind, we have other attachments and comforts and desires in the back of the mind. And we just can't get them off. And they like haunt us actually. Uh, That's why this becomes the block for pure devotional service. But we are so unfortunate that um, we still carry them. That's why I like this example. Because I like to remind myself. But yeah, um, a haunted person is not free to act. Rather, he is forced to fulfill the desire of ghost. Likewise, we may negate it by our intellect, but that those desires remain. The ghost of Bhukti and Mukti forces one to spend all their energy in their pursuits. So what the ghost does is the ghost forces uh, and uses the person for one's own purposes. And likewise, these desires for Bhukti and Mukti, they uses our energy to fulfill them. Um, they want their purposes to be served, and we become their instrument basically. Forces one to spend all their energy in their pursuits. Likewise, our human life may be spent in the pursuits of those desires. Those desires will haunt us, and they will force us, and we'll become the servant of their desires, and we'll try to fulfill those desires. And those same fulfillment of desires will slap us tomorrow. We'll keep fulfilling them. It will not give us anything, and we'll get so much distress and anxiety from it. And still, we don't want that pure loving affection for Krishna. And we still find hopes and shelter in those desires. So amazing example of ghost and witch and haunting. I love this example, Rupa Goswami. That's why brilliant actually. Goswami compares. No, naturally we are not like so much, but some people are like, I want to become free. This is misery, and always thinking about how to become free and become one, and that is also not a favorable desire. Um, uh, Too much, Lord Krishna says, becoming fully disgusted is also not good. Um, and becoming too attached is also not good. Rather, bhakti is a balanced path. Balanced path. Lord Krishna says to Uddhava, um, means they try to cultivate the relationship with me, and gradually they become deeply attached to me. As long as one has these desires, one cannot relish or develop taste in his bhajan. Um, Vishaya chhadiya kabe shuddha bimana kabe mahirabo Shri Vrindavana গৌরাঙ্গ বলিতে হবে কুলাকাশরীরা হরিহারি বলিতে নায়ানে বাবিনীরা. When the day will come, when I say the name of Gauranga and Pulaka Sharira, by saying the name of Gauranga, by chanting name of Gauranga, my hairs will stand on end. Hari Hari Bolite Nayane Baba Mira. When that day will come, when I say Hari Hari, my eyes will be filled with tears. Amazing picture, amazing desire. When will I become free from Vishaya? And when will my heart become pure? Then only Kabe Hama He Rabu Shri Vrindavan. When my heart become pure and when I become free from all the Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shuddha Habe Mana. Then only I'll be able to experience and relish Vrindavan, or my bhajan will have taste. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sang, um, um, Dur Daiva Midrishami Ha Jani Naguraga. The Lord has invested all his energy, but I am so unfortunate I have no no taste in them. Rather, I am still lingering on with taste in this world, and I'm not able to give it up. That is very pathetic, it's very kind of helpless. But actually, we want it. you know, but yeah, this is the power of illusory energy, Maya. Um, um, she doesn't let go of. I mean, we don't let go of her. um, what to manage? Maybe it should be how to manage the desires for sense. What do I do? So first is acceptance, stage one. Krishna reciprocates according to our desires. Until I desire not to desire, even Krishna cannot help. So first is I accept that I have these desires. Um, and if I linger on these desires, Krishna will keep fulfilling those desires. So I must first take the responsibility that this desire is wrong. And I must pray to Krishna to take away that desire. Unless I take the step to pray to Krishna that Krishna, I don't want these desires. I don't want these attachments. I don't want these comforts. Um, I want you. Unless I desire that, maybe intellectually, but unless I desire that, Krishna won't sanction it. If I don't desire, keys I didn't see them. Thank you. Hare Krishna. But um, um, if I don't desire to give them up, Krishna will never take that. And he will eventually, he will maybe bring a lot of suffering through them and teaches many realizations. Still, I give up that desire. But do I want to wait that Krishna give me realization, then I give up the desire? Or can I start working on giving up unwanted desire now? Then only Vrindavan and the taste will come and Vrindavan will be revealed. Step two is don't associate with circumstances that triggers our contemplation. Don't expose yourself. Don't. When we desire certain attachments, Every investment on that is gonna make the thread of that attachment stronger. So do I hanker for my attachments, or do I want to disassociate with? Do I expose myself to those circumstances which will deepen my attachments? Um, uh, or can I be little bit strong with myself and desire not to um, accumulate more dirt which has been accumulated since ever? Or do I want to accumulate more dirt in my mind now? Vacuum creates anarthas, avyartha kalatva. Pack your day with Krishna conscious engagements and duties. Keep yourself busy serving Krishna. Because if you're not busy, then vacuum attracts anarthas. Then our unwanted habits may come back. And sincere prayers while chanting to free oneself from this haunted ghost. Sincerely pray, my Lord, please. I want, but first is we have to desire. I don't want it. If we want it, then uh, one devotee said the reason Maya don't leave us because we don't want to leave her. They are like we are embracing Maya, and they're like, please don't leave me. If Maya, you leave me, how will I be happy? Where will I find my shelter? If Maya, you leave me, how will I live in this world? You have to be there with me. So because we don't want to part off with Maya, she's like she's like happily with us, embracing us. Yeah, I'm there with you. Shamananda Krishna, don't worry. Birth after birth, I'll be there with you. So sincere prayers while chanting to free oneself from this haunted ghost. Um, so this is um, uh, um, we saw to begin bhakti, we need attraction. We don't need detachment. We don't need attachment to Krishna. The little attraction can come by mahant association, and that can begin bhakti. But to begin pure bhakti, we need to become free from desires. Otherwise, unless Shuddha Habe Mana and Vishaya Chadiya, give up Vishaya, we cannot practice pure devotional service. Anya Bilashita Shunya cannot get to that platform. Then what are the obstacles? Is Bhukti and Mukti, and they're like witches. And then we saw how we ourselves need to take some steps now um, uh, um, to come out of that. Because if we want it, then it's gonna take really long time. See, even if we chant a lot of rounds, do a lot of sadhana, a lot of seva, but if we keep embracing Maya, what can she do? What can Krishna do? कृष्णा बोलेंगे आप छोड़िए सर आप तो छोड़ो हम छोड़ना नहीं चाहते यही प्रॉब्लम है So what do great devotees desire? Uddhava's desire. Oh my Lord, Uddhava is praying to Krishna, मेरे प्रिय भगवान. Devotees who engage in transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, liberation. But, O great one, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. So Uddhava says to Krishna, Uddhava says, anybody who is attached to your lotus feet, they can get whatever they want. They can get all the sense gratification. They can get economic development. They can get liberation, religion. They can get anything they want. Your lotus feet, because you are the supreme controller. Anybody who approaches you for anything, you can easily give them. Why? Everything is under you only. You can give them. But I don't want any of those things, my God. I only want to be engaged in the service of your lotus feet. I just want to serve you, and that's all. Very high for us, very kind of unapproachable for us. And the reason is because we have become weak by our attachments. We have been captured by our attachments. We are not akinchana. Tvam akinchana gochara. We are not akinchana means we are not exhausted from this material world. We still find joy in this material world. Not we still fully, I'm talking about myself. We find joy fully in this material world. And because we are not exhausted materially, we are not able to take exclusive shelter of Krishna is not our Eka Sharana, alone shelter. Maybe Krishna is not our, maybe Krishna is like 1% of our shelter, and remaining material energy is like so much percentage of our shelter. And that's why it's very hard to pray like Uddhava. But here is Uddhava whose love and affection is flowing towards Krishna. All glories to all the pure devotees of the Lord. Uh, Uddhava says, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet, and I don't need anything. Anybody wants anything, you can give them. But my Lord, I don't need anything other than engaging in your service. One who has fixed his consciousness on me, this is one who has fixed his consciousness on me desires neither, this is I think Lord speaking obviously, भगवान बोल रहे हैं to Uddhava, one who has fixed his consciousness on me desires neither the position or abode of Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, nor an empire on the earth, nor the sovereignty in the lower planetary system, nor the aid for perfection of yoga, nor liberation from birth and death. Such a person desires me alone. Basically, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, no desire, no wealth or whatever, followers, position, um, and various other attachments. So Krishna says to Uddhava, one who is fixed in me, he does not desire anything else. He desires me alone. See, the thing is, we are attracted to so many things now. Um, but so many things are attractive only because of Krishna, because Krishna is all attractive. And that's why whatever other desires are, they seem attractive because they are coming from Krishna. Um, we need to have this little bit of faith that Krishna is all attractive and Krishna can capture my heart and Krishna can fully satisfy me. And there will be no negative angle to that attachment. It's like purely satisfying and um, fulfilling. So one Krishna says that one who is fixed on me, they only desire me and nothing else. Nothing else can divert them. Um, Gopi's example is coming to our mind. They were not diverted to anything actually, because their heart was just flowing towards Krishna. Devotees are attracted to my form. The Lord Kapila is telling a pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. So Lord Kapila says, those who are attached to me and those who are attached to my devotional service, like our spiritual masters, very good example. Srila Prabhupada, and these Goswamis and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by his own example um, that those who are attached to the activities of devotional service and serve Krishna, they don't want to become one with Krishna, and they just always glorify the pastimes of Krishna. They are like unflinchingly engaged, constantly engaged in serving the Lord, in glorifying the Lord, hearing about the Lord, performing kirtan to the Lord, associating with devotees of the Lord, eating prasadam with devotees of the Lord, relishing the Lord in each other's association. And their heart is like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu example, we may think, the heart is constantly following towards Krishna. They're attracted so much towards Krishna. Where is Krishna? Mahaprabhu showed by his own example. Then this is Bharat Maharaj desire. We saw how Lord Kapila presents nothing else other than pure devotional service. My devotee. The Lord Himself is telling actually. Lord is telling to devotees. Lord Krishna is telling to Uddhava. Those who are attracted to me, don't want anything else. Lord Kapila is telling to Devahuti. Those who are attracted to me want nothing else. And here we are taking example of some pure devotees. How what was Uddhava's desire? And how Lord is confirming. Uddhava is telling, I don't want anything other than service to your lotus feet. Um, um, and the Lord is confirming that those who are attached to me and those who are fixed on me, they don't want anything other than my service. And we see the example from the life of these pure devotees. And we see Bharat Maharaj, how he was praying. Sukadev Goswami continued, "My dear king, the activities of Bharat Maharaj are wonderful. He gave up everything difficult for others to give up. His own comfort, family, kingdom, gave up everything, um, which is difficult for others to give up. He gave up his kingdom, his wife, and his family. His opulence was so great that even the demigods envied him, Bharat Maharaj, the son of Lord Rishabhdev. Yet he gave it up. He gave all those things also. It was quite befitting a great personality like him to be a great devotee. He could renounce everything because he was so attracted to the beauty, opulence, reputation, knowledge, strength, and renunciation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Krishna is so attractive that one can give up all desirable things for his sake. Um, Krishna is so attractive that one can give up everything for his sake. There are so many devotees who give up everything and go to Vrindavan, live in Vrindavan. Some are like big businessmen, and they are coming from their own life situations. The six Goswamis, we see the Goswamis, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa and Sanatan Goswami were like ministers. Raghunath Das Goswami was like a millionaire, billionaire. Um, um, Raghunath Das Goswami was married to a very beautiful young girl. Uh, and we see Narottam Das Thakur, we see, and they were in a very like kingly situation or very wealthy situation, very comfortable situation. Whatever everybody was wanting, they had it, but then they were not attracted to them. We see that from their example. But rather give up everything to serve Lord Chaitanya or to serve Krishna in Vrindavan. So that shows that Lord can attract our heart. Lord has a potency to attract our heart. Um, so we see from this life of great devotees, they are setting an example and footsteps. We want to follow in some little ways, follow their footsteps. And here Bharat Maharaj could also do the same thing. Give up what everybody's are. Even Devatas were envious of him because of what he had. And he gave up everything because he was so much attracted to the Lord. So this is like we can see a glimpse of that much attractive this devotional service is. And these devotees have set the example for us. And somehow we want to get to the point to follow their footsteps or to become like them. That is possible if we work on ourselves. This is Maharaj Pithu's desire. I think it's 9:36. Maybe this is the last slide we do, and then we resume tomorrow. Actually, this particular is chapter 3 and 4. So tomorrow we'll resume and then we will finish both the chapters at once. The last slide, Maharaj Pithu desire. We saw how Bharat Maharaj's desire was, how Uddhava's desire was, and what Lord Krishna is telling to Uddhava, what um, uh, Lord Kapila is telling to Devahuti. And everything matches. What devotees is telling and Lord is telling, my devotees are like this. And Prithu Maharaj desire, my dear Lord, if after taking liberation I have no chance of hearing the glories of your Lordship, glory is chanted by pure devotees from the core of their heart in praise of your lotus feet. And if I have no chance for this honey of transcendental bliss, then I shall never ask for liberation or this so called spiritual emancipation. I shall simply always pray unto your Lordship that you may give me millions of tongues and millions of ears so that I can constantly chant and hear of your transcendent glories. So Prithu Maharaj is like the great king. He was born the uh, from the churning of the body of King Vena. He and his wife Attari, they both were born and they ruled like amazing actually. Prithu Maharaj, he is Shaktiavish, empowered incarnation of the Lord. And he is telling, and he was so deeply attached to chanting the glories of the Lord, hearing the glories of the Lord. And he is telling that if you give me liberation, and if I don't have a chance to hear and to chant, then please don't give me liberation. Put me in a situation where I can simply have millions of ears and millions of tongues, so I can associate with pure devotees, hear from them, and chant the glories of the Lord. Just put me in situation. So this Prithu Maharaj, we can see how deeply he is attached to the Lord. He just want to hear and he just want to chant, and that's all he find perfection. That's all he finds shelter in. That's all he finds comfort in. He's not finding those things in his kingdom, in his family, opulence or fame, or he's not finding anywhere because he's so deeply attached. So Lord has the potential. Lord can capture us in that way completely. But for that we need the mercy, his mercy. By his mercy we can be so deeply attracted to it. Okay, so I would like to stop here and see if somebody would like to ask anything or share anything or discuss anything.
Dhanvat Prabhuji. Yeah, Madhvi, go ahead. I'll ask
It's
after.
okay, Prabhuji. You can go ahead.
Sorry, Madhvi. Just please forgive me for asking this story. In Ajamil's case, Prabhuji, we hear that his unearthed ability was gone in a minute because that
Mm,
execution was so powerful.
mm,
So, so Prabhuji, I was just contemplating on this aspect that normally unearthed ability is the longest stage, Prabhuji, like in a sadhaka's life that way.
mm.
So, any more inspirations on this, Prabhuji? Like regular association should continue, and one day a powerful association will come, and one it will happen. Or like any inputs on that, like, on the unearthability stage going away, like.
Mm. So the one inspiration I have is our own desires. Prabhu. Can we manage our desires? Can we pray to Krishna, or can we desire not to have unfavorable desire? At least we desire not to have unfavorable desire. And can we maybe understanding what pure devotion is and how attractive Krishna is and how Krishna can attract the heart of his devotees, and how I haven't received that mercy, I am still lingering on the illusory platform. Can we pray to Krishna to give that mercy to me also? Can we pray to Krishna to not like so that I can become free? So that's like praying for to come to the level of that pure attraction for Krishna. I feel like one thing we can do is okay, another with is very long phase, but how long do you want to keep it? Um, what is our effort, our conscious effort, so we come out of it? Because if we desire it, Krishna is "Nayathamam prapattam tada bhajamiham." If we keep on more and more, Krishna will keep fulfilling because the name is like Chintamani. Eventually, Krishna may give us that realization. Then what happens if the process of bhakti is very sincere, like uh, yourself is a very, very sincere devotee you are. But when the devotional service is very sincere, then uh, like Srila Prabhupada says, attraction to Krishna will grow and attraction to Guru will grow. And when we are attached to our spiritual masters, our to Lord Krishna, based on that attraction, it will weaken our attachment to this world as our attachment to Krishna grows. By our effort, is Krishna is pleased and His mercy comes, and our heart starts flowing uh, to remember His name, His form, qualities, pastimes, attracted. Then it will shorten our path, Prabhuji. But simultaneously, if we can also not expose ourselves to unfavorable circumstances, or yeah, that may further speeden up. These are the two thoughts, Prabhuji.
I was looking after some shortcut, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Looking for
much.
some shortcut. If
No,
you
no,
find,
I
let
could
me
be.
know, Prabhuji.
Sorry.
Actually, I feel like personally, I feel like I want to work hard to attain it. I want to go through whatever struggles required to attain it, because if with hard struggle we attain it, na, it will be very sweet to attain it. And yeah, uh, I mean, I think we are personally prepared for whatever it takes. Um, but we want that. There is this story of the son of a rich man, and the father asked him, the son asked for something. The father said, "You earn 1/20th or 1/30th, 1/50th of the money by yourself, and I'll give this to you. You get 1%, I will give you remaining 99%, you can get it." So the son said, "That's it." He wanted to go with the friends and drink and go to some places, and he wanted to do various things. Um, am I on Zoom still?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, brother.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So you 1% you get and 98% I'll provide. So the son went and he worked very hard whole day, and the like some farming or helping the farm very hard. He was sweating. He has bruises. His hands had little bit of scars. Exhausted, and then he got some chiller, like which is like not even 0.01%. He went and he gave it to father, and father took those small notes, whatever notes were they were, like few rupees or something, and threw into the fire. And the child was like heartbroken, like, I father said, this is nothing. You need 1% at least. So son went again, and son again worked very hard. Then he came to the father. Father took and threw it into the fire again. Then again, I think third time it happened. He put extra effort. Whole night he worked. He came and then he begged to the father that I don't want anything. Um, 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 and the father was actually, basically his heart was transformed, because he understood what it takes to get something, and he could understand the value of it, and he didn't need it anymore. I mean, I don't remember the exact story, but the idea is when we earn something with great difficulty, we really value it a lot actually. See, after say 30 years of practice, we develop little attraction to Krishna's name, Krishna's form. We feel like, wow, I have done रगड़ रगड़ के मेहनत करने के बाद थोड़ा सा attraction आया. And that is a great wealth. We feel great joy in having attained something with great difficulty. And gradually, I feel there is some rasa in that. Probably that's what I can say, if it is okay with you.
Yes, fine. Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay. So I guess if nothing else, then we can end here. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as your humble servant. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhu vacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी, माता जी, हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू पूजा माता जी, हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Paramaatma.
थैंक यू प्रभु, हरे हरे प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण।
Hare